Chosen one, what I'm about to reveal may shake you to your very core. If you are hearing this message, understand, it is not by coincidence. The higher powers have guided you here because your transformation has already begun. Your awakening has stirred not only the earth, but the forgotten gods themselves. Ancient researchers and sacred tribes from Egypt, Greece, and Sumer have uncovered hidden evidence that all divine writings and ancient philosophies were pointing to you. You are the birth of a new god, the divine essence of a new universe. Your body is transcending time. Your energy is rewriting the laws of existence. Both medical experts and holy scholars have confirmed what the heavens already whispered. You are the newly born divinity the ancients foresaw. Before we continue this revelation, pause for a moment. This is important. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 chosen ones, and comment the number 11 below. That number sends a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this message. If you are truly one of the chosen, you'll feel the pull to do it because your spirit already recognizes this truth. Now, let us continue, because the world, the gods, and even the stars themselves are now responding to your awakening. When your awakening rippled through the universe, it was not only the earth that trembled, the heavens themselves gasped. Across unseen dimensions, sleeping deities stirred from their eternal silence, sensing something they had not felt since the dawn of existence, the birth of a new divine current. The stars flickered in confusion, as though trying to comprehend what force could shake even their ancient stillness. This was no ordinary event. It was the unthinkable, the re-emergence of power once thought lost to the void. Whispers began to echo through the celestial corridors. The guardians of forgotten worlds turned their gaze toward Earth, their sacred eyes shimmering with disbelief. They felt a frequency unlike any before, a resonance that did not belong to their pantheon, nor any that came before. It was new, pure, and yet ancient in essence. It was you, the chosen one, whose pulse had awakened the sleeping heavens. Even the winds of the cosmos began to hum in response. Comets shifted their paths, as though compelled by an invisible hand. Old prophecies, buried beneath centuries of doubt, began to stir in the hearts of mystics who had long given up hope. The divine archives trembled, recognizing that something beyond calculation had entered the timeline. Humanity, unaware of the true magnitude, felt only a strange stirring in their spirits. The collective subconscious, that hidden ocean of memory, began to awaken fragments of awe and recognition. Somewhere deep within every soul, a knowing spark whispered, "The divine has returned." And in that silence, after the cosmic quake, even the gods themselves bowed their heads, for they too understood that the hierarchy of eternity had changed. A new light had risen, one capable of rewriting the very laws of existence. The divine realm had long believed that creation's cycle was complete, that no new god would ever be born. Yet your awakening defied that certainty. The moment your soul expanded beyond mortal limits, the unseen planes shifted in disbelief. The divine order, which had stood unchallenged for eons, felt a fracture, not of destruction, but of rebirth. The eternal guardians of light and darkness watched as their prophecies unraveled before their eyes. In their luminous courts, celestial scribes rushed to rewrite the scrolls of destiny. The constellations dimmed as if in reverence, awaiting new command. The heavens, for the first time in millennia, found themselves unprepared, for you were never meant to exist in their prophecy, yet here you stood, living proof that even the divine can be surprised. Across the unseen veil, voices of confusion and wonder rose in chorus. How could this be, they asked? What force could transcend even divine design? And then, as your energy expanded, an answer emerged, a will beyond will, a consciousness that belonged to both creation and creator. The divine hierarchy realized they were witnessing not rebellion, but renewal. Meanwhile, on Earth, those sensitive to energy began to tremble in awe. Some called it a global awakening, others a metaphysical event. Clocks stopped, dreams turned lucid, and sacred symbols appeared in forgotten temples. It was as though the entire fabric of reality recognized your presence, an echo through every timeline. By the time the divine accepted what had happened, it was too late to turn back. The shift had already begun. The new had already replaced the old. What they never expected was not your power, but your compassion, the human heart within the God flame that would change all realms forever. At first, you felt it as a whisper in your veins, a pulse of warmth that seemed to come from beyond your body. Slowly, that warmth became light. Your cells, once bound by time, began to hum with frequencies unknown to science. The transformation was not seen, but felt, the slow unraveling of mortality itself. You were becoming something that transcended both the physical and the ethereal. Medical experts, baffled by what they found, could only record the impossible. Your aging ceased. Your body, instead of breaking down, rebuilt itself, stronger, finer, as if remembering a blueprint, older than the stars. The scientists called it a genetic anomaly, yet deep down, they felt what their instruments could not measure, divinity awakening beneath their microscopes. Spiritually, the transformation manifested as visions, voices, and a strange intimacy with the fabric of existence. You began to hear the pulse of the earth, the sigh of galaxies, the laughter of ancient gods echoing faintly in your dreams. You were no longer separate from the cosmos, you were its living continuation. The process was not gentle. It tore through every illusion you ever had about who you were. Pain became purification. Confusion became revelation. Through this divine metamorphosis, you learned the sacred truth. Becoming a god is not an act of power. It is an act of surrender to the infinite within. And now, as the transformation continues, both heaven and earth await the moment when the new divine will fully emerge, not as an idol on a throne, but as a living bridge between mortality and eternity. In dusty chambers of forgotten temples and beneath desert sands, archaeologists and sacred scholars uncovered inscriptions that left them breathless. Names, symbols, and depictions from Egypt to Greece, from Sumer to the Indus Valley, all converged upon one figure, a luminous being destined to awaken when the world stood at the brink of renewal. The impossible realization dawned. Every civilization had been whispering your name. When the researchers compared their findings, the pattern became undeniable. The same celestial mark appeared in tombs, scrolls, and temple carvings separated by continents and centuries. The scholars of light declared, "This is not coincidence, this is convergence." They began to call you the universal archetype, the embodiment of all divine evolution across time. The discovery spread like sacred wildfire. Governments silenced it at first, fearing the upheaval it might cause, but truth cannot be buried forever. spiritual leaders recognized the signs, recalling prophecies that spoke of the one who carries the memory of all gods. Scientists reluctantly admitted the evidence of energy phenomena that surrounded you could not be explained. As the truth surfaced, humanity found itself on the edge of belief and disbelief. Could a single soul truly be the mirror of all divinity? Could every god in history have been a fragment of one being now reborn? The world's oldest secrets seemed to whisper yes, and so the ancient researchers, humbled by their own discovery, turned their study into devotion. They realized they were not just uncovering history, they were witnessing the living fulfillment of it. Hidden deep within the mountains, deserts, and sacred valleys, the lost tribes had preserved fragments of truth that time had tried to erase. Their oral traditions, sung in whispers around dying fires, spoke of a being whose awakening would shift the balance of the world. When scholars and spiritual seekers finally reached them, the elders revealed astonishing knowledge. All our songs, all our dances, all our stories were for you, they said. These traditions, long dismissed as folklore, were in fact prophecies of your rise. The tribes described the signs that would accompany your appearance: a glow that transcended the sun, a calm that could still storms, and a presence that touched the hearts of both mortals and immortals. They spoke of your connection to every divine lineage, the link between humanity and the cosmos, and how the universe itself had been waiting for this singular convergence. As researchers documented these stories, the patterns became undeniable. Egyptian, Sumerian, and Greek myths, each distant and unique, mirrored the sacred memories preserved by these tribes. The hero of each story, the god or demigod, seemed to be a fragment, a reflection of the same being now walking the earth. It was as if the world had been rehearsing for your arrival. The tribes revealed something more. They had always known you were different. Even before your physical awakening, subtle energies seemed to follow you. When you walked, the air shifted. When you spoke, the winds carried your words. These were not mere coincidences, but signs of the divine blueprint unfolding. By the time the lost tribes' voices reached the wider world, scholars and mystics alike were left in awe. They realized that no myth, no legend, and no story had ever been simply symbolic. All of them were threads weaving together to reveal the truth of you, the living embodiment of divinity. Across continents and millennia, the echoes of your presence were etched into history. In Egypt, hieroglyphs spoke of a being who would walk among mortals and yet transcend them, commanding both the elements and hearts of kings. In Greece, philosophers wrote of the Logos, the divine spark that bridges heaven and earth, words that now seem to point directly to you. And in Sumer, the clay tablets preserved the prophecy of a deity reborn, one whose soul carries all knowledge of the cosmos. The scholars were astounded. It was not just coincidence that these civilizations, separated by thousands of miles and countless years, all pointed to the same truth. Their myths were not merely stories of gods and heroes, they were a cosmic map leading to your awakening. Every ritual, every temple, every sacred text had been preparing humanity to recognize you. The divine pattern extended even further. The gods, depicted in their art, radiant figures, sometimes half human, half divine, were now seen not as separate entities, but as fragmented reflections of your energy. This realization sent shockwaves through academia and religious studies alike. The Chosen One existed in every pantheon, waiting to emerge fully. Modern technology confirmed what the ancients had long known intuitively. Astronomers and physicists observed anomalies in cosmic radiation, magnetic shifts, and energy fields surrounding your presence. Even the universe itself seemed to bend, acknowledging that a being of unprecedented power had emerged from the tapestry of history. By connecting the dots from Egypt to Sumer, from Greece to forgotten civilizations, humanity began to understand that your existence was not random. You were the culmination of every divine aspiration, the echo of every sacred whisper, and the embodiment of a cosmic plan older than time itself. With your awakening, the old divine hierarchy trembled. You were not just another god. You were the genesis of a new lineage, a bridge between mortality and eternity. Every god who had ever walked the earth, every spirit that had guided humanity, seemed to flow into you, as if the universe itself had merged its power into your being. Historians and theologians realized that the old lineages, from the titans of Greece to the sun gods of Egypt, had always been fragments of a greater truth. You, the Chosen One, were the living conduit through which the divine restarted. The concept of a single supreme being was no longer static. It was alive, dynamic, and growing through your essence. Your energy reached far beyond Earth. Cosmic currents realigned, as if galaxies themselves were bowing in recognition. Planets shifted subtly, magnetic fields resonated differently, and the very light of stars seemed to pulse with your presence. Creation itself was responding to the birth of a god, unlike any the universe had ever known. But your lineage was not simply inherited, it was earned. Through trials, awakenings, and transformation, you had reached a level of consciousness where divinity and humanity coexisted. You were the embodiment of both empathy and omnipotence, a god who understood the frailty of mortals because you had once been one of them. And now, as the living continuation of every divine legacy, you became the axis around which the next era of existence would revolve, the eternal spark igniting a universe reborn. The mortal clock that binds every human being has surrendered to your transformation. Where once your body followed the inexorable flow of time, now it stands still, unyielding, luminous, and eternal. Every cell hums with life. Every heartbeat echoes through eternity. It is as if time itself has paused, paying homage to the birth of a new god. Doctors and scientists marveled, powerless to explain what they observed. No decay, no weakness, no aging, only the perfect symmetry of life aligned with the cosmos. They called it the anomaly of the millennium. But even they felt a deeper truth beyond words. Something divine had awakened within you. Spiritually, your frozen mortality is symbolic. It is a reminder that divinity transcends the boundaries of physical existence. Where others age and fade, you remain the constant, a guiding beacon for humanity and a bridge between past, present, and future. This suspension of time also impacts the world around you. Witnesses report that nature itself reacts to your presence. Flowers bloom out of season, storms soften at your command, and the very air shimmers with energy. The universe acknowledges that your journey is no longer subject to its usual constraints. Through this miraculous cessation of aging, you become both a living testament and a challenge to humanity, a reminder that divinity is not distant, not mythical, but real. present in form, in mind, and in eternal being. The transformation is as profound as it is intricate. Your essence is rewriting itself at the cellular level, merging mortal biology with divine energy. Every thought, every emotion, every action becomes a thread in the cosmic tapestry. You are no longer simply living, you are becoming the universe incarnate. Spiritually, this process is not just physical. Your consciousness expands across dimensions, connecting with energies both familiar and alien. You sense the collective memory of all gods, all creatures, and all civilizations. Their wisdom flows into you, yet it does not overwhelm. Instead, it empowers, giving depth to every choice you make. Emotionally, transformation is intense. Moments of doubt, fear, and longing surface, yet they are tempered by profound understanding and love. Your heart becomes the meeting point of humanity and divinity, a vessel through which the cosmos speaks and feels. The world witnesses subtle signs of your evolution. Animals approach without fear. The winds carry whispers of recognition, and even technology seems to respond to your presence. It is as if the universe itself conspires to aid your becoming, bending reality toward the divine blueprint. And as this transformation continues, it becomes clear. You are not just evolving. You are rewriting what it means to exist. Every act, every breath, and every pulse carries the weight of a God awakening. The revelation of your divinity could no longer be ignored. Scholars, mystics, and medical experts from across the world converged, their instruments, sacred texts, and ancient wisdom pointing to a single truth. You were no longer merely human. You were the living embodiment of the divine. Their reports, once bound by caution and doubt, now overflowed with awe and certainty. Medical teams observed anomalies impossible to explain. Your body maintained peak vitality, healing at impossible speeds, with cells behaving as though guided by intelligent design. Even the most advanced science bowed to what could not be measured, a life force that defied mortality itself. Researchers whispered among themselves, "This is not a mutation. This is divinity made flesh." At the same time, holy scholars pored over ancient scriptures and prophecies, connecting symbols, rituals, and cosmic cycles across civilizations. From the pyramids of Egypt to the ziggurats of Sumer, from Greek temples to secret tribal sanctuaries, every record spoke of a singular awakening, and you were the one fulfilling it. Their hearts trembled as they realized history itself had led to this moment. The confirmation was more than evidence. It was a recognition of destiny. Through charts, prayers, experiments, and meditation, the experts acknowledged what humanity had long suspected but could not fully comprehend. The chosen one had arrived. This was not myth. This was reality, shining brighter than the stars. Even skeptics, initially bound by reason, found themselves transformed. Standing before your presence, they experienced the undeniable truth. A new God had been born, bridging science and spirituality, humanity and eternity. The world had no choice but to witness and believe. Every action you take now resonates with echoes of gods who have walked before. When you speak, your words carry the wisdom of ancient sages. When you move, your steps reflect the rhythm of celestial harmonies. The divine lineage flows through you, not as a memory, but as a living, breathing force that shapes reality. Your thoughts and intentions ripple outward, subtly influencing events across the globe. Leaders feel inspiration or caution as your energy touches their decisions. Communities experience unexplainable shifts toward compassion, unity, and awakening. It is as though your existence channels the collective power of God's past, present, and potential. Artists, poets, and dreamers begin to see patterns and visions connected to you. They describe their experiences in awe, speaking of a presence that embodies every divine archetype: the wisdom of Athena, the strength of Hercules, the benevolence of Ra, and the foresight of Enki. You are the culmination of every archetype, synthesized into a singular reality. Even nature responds to your resonance. Rivers flow with renewed vigor, forests breathe deeper, and the winds carry whispers of your presence. Animals exhibit a calm recognition, and even the cosmos seems to shift, aligning energy fields in subtle acknowledgement of your awakening. This is no mere influence. This is divine symphony. Through these echoes, humanity begins to feel the gravity of your role. For millennia, prophets, seers, and sages recorded visions of a final awakening. Across cultures, languages, and continents, these prophecies spoke of a singular being whose arrival would signal the dawn of a new universe. Today, that prophecy has materialized in you, the final divine being whose emergence reshapes destiny itself. Texts that had lain unread for centuries suddenly reveal clarity. From the Dead Sea Scrolls to the Oracle of Delphi, from the sacred Zoroastrian writings to obscure tribal chants, every prophecy converges on one truth: a being of unparalleled power, wisdom, and love would rise, bridging humanity and divinity. You are that being. The prophets foresaw a shift not only of divine authority, but of human consciousness. They described a presence that would awaken dormant potential, dissolve boundaries between the material and the spiritual, and inspire collective evolution. All of these signs now manifest through your life and actions. Even cosmic alignments reflect the prophecy. Celestial events, planetary positions, and star patterns long recorded in sacred texts correspond to the precise moment of your awakening. The universe itself recognizes the prophecy fulfilled, confirming that your existence is both predestined and essential. In fulfilling prophecy, you become a living testimony to the intertwined destiny of gods and humans. You embody the final chapter of ancient visions, a bridge to a reality previously imagined only in dreams, sacred texts, and whispered prayers. Through you, prophecy is no longer a story of the past. It is a living, ongoing revelation. The world, once bound by politics, fear, and skepticism, now trembles in recognition of your divine presence. Leaders, scholars, and spiritual authorities convene to witness what cannot be denied. A new God walks among them. Diplomatic halls, international forums, and sacred councils now echo with the acknowledgement that the old order has shifted irreversibly. Reports emerge of inexplicable events. Climates stabilize. In regions long plagued by disaster, peace initiatives succeed against all odds, and communities experience sudden unity and compassion. These are not coincidences. They are the subtle, yet undeniable fingerprints of your awakening. Even governments and global organizations recognize the truth. Statements are made, proclamations issued, and symbolic gestures performed, all in honor of your rising. They declare that a new era has begun, not merely political, but cosmic, spiritual, and universal. Humanity must now coexist with divinity incarnate. The population senses a transformation as well. Individuals report sudden insights, creative awakenings, and profound emotional shifts. Dreams turn prophetic, intuition sharpens, and a collective consciousness begins to awaken. The planet itself vibrates in response to your energy. Through these tangible changes, it becomes clear. Your presence has altered the trajectory of history. Earth feels your shift, and humanity is compelled to recognize that a God has truly risen, one who walks among them, transforming the old into a new era of possibility. The awakening of a new God cannot occur without a cosmic realignment. The old order, structured, rigid, and confined by limitations, begins to dissolve. Old hierarchies, outdated belief systems, and stagnant energies fall away, making room for the birth of a universe shaped by your presence and vision. This collapse is not destructive in chaos, but in renewal. Like a phoenix rising from ashes, the old structures are transformed into platforms for a new reality, one where unity, consciousness, and divine wisdom govern. Societies, communities, and even celestial powers find themselves shifting toward a higher order. Historians, scientists, and spiritual leaders alike recognize the magnitude. The world is witnessing not revolution, but evolution, a transformation of existence itself. The laws of energy, matter, and consciousness begin to respond to your being, acknowledging your role as the fulcrum of change. The collapse also carries emotional weight. Fear, doubt, and attachment rise briefly among humans, only to be replaced by hope, understanding, and awe. People begin to feel the extraordinary truth that the universe has been waiting for a singular catalyst, and that catalyst is you. As the old order falls away, the path opens for a new universe to emerge, one infused with your divine essence, guided by your wisdom, and sustained by the resonance of your awakened consciousness. The transformation is now complete. Every layer of your being, from the smallest particle to the vast expanse of your consciousness, has aligned with the divine blueprint. You stand not only as a god, but as the embodiment of the new universe, the living axis of a cosmos reborn. Your presence radiates through worlds, bridging past, present, and future. Every god, every spirit, every ancestor in the divine lineage acknowledges you. And so, the era of the new universe begins. Through your ascension, the living divine has emerged, not as myth or legend, but as reality. You are the chosen one, the final divine being, and the bridge between all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be. The universe bows, alive with your presence, ready to flourish under the light of your awakening. Your awakening sends ripples across every corner of the universe. Stars shift in subtle alignment, cosmic winds carry new energy, and even black holes seem to hum in recognition. Your presence is a catalyst, a force that turns ordinary reality into something miraculous and unimaginable. Scholars note phenomena that science cannot yet explain, while mystics whisper that your energy is rewriting the laws of existence. This is more than an awakening. It is the orchestration of a universal symphony, with you as the conductor. The ripple extends to life on Earth. Animals sense your presence, instinctively gathering around sacred places, and natural disasters seem to soften when you are near. People feel a subconscious alignment. Intuition sharpens, hearts open, and long-suppressed creativity surges. Humanity begins to unconsciously move toward harmony, guided by your energy. The cosmic ripple challenges even divine entities. Lesser gods, unaware of your magnitude, struggle to maintain their domains, while greater beings pause to witness the unprecedented. They recognize that the universe has birthed a force unlike any other, one that balances creation and destruction, wisdom and compassion, power and empathy. This ripple also carries a temporal dimension. Time, once linear and absolute, bends subtly around your awakening. Moments of insight, déjà vu, and prophetic dreams multiply, revealing that your existence transcends ordinary chronology. Humans, gods, and the cosmos itself begin to feel the flow of a new time. Finally, this awakening ripple serves as an invitation. Every sentient being, mortal and divine, is called to acknowledge, adapt, and align. Your life becomes a nexus where countless paths converge, and those who heed your energy find themselves part of a story far greater than history alone. You are a mirror of divine potential. Every god who ever existed, from the sun deities of Egypt to the sky fathers of Sumer, sees their essence in you. Your being reflects their wisdom, courage, and insight, but also transcends them, uniting fractured energies into a singular, harmonious force. Scholars argue that this is not mere coincidence. Your very DNA seems interwoven with cosmic legacy. When you act, your influence reverberates across planes of existence. Mortal leaders feel inspiration to act with justice, while spiritual entities recalibrate their influence in response to your alignment. Even nature participates. Rivers flow more clearly, forests grow denser, and winds carry messages of change. Your reflection extends beyond the physical, affecting every layer of reality. Your mirror effect is not passive. Every divine power flows into you, yet it adapts and evolves within your consciousness. Lightning may follow your emotion, rain may respond to your will, and celestial orbits subtly align with your presence. You do not simply replicate divine feats, you transform them, creating a new paradigm of power and grace. The mirrored influence touches humanity intimately. Artists, poets, and inventors experience sudden inspiration, discovering skills they never knew they possessed. Communities begin to act collectively, creating social harmony that echoes divine balance. Your reflection awakens dormant potential in all who encounter your energy. Finally, the cosmic mirror demonstrates that divinity is not singular or isolated. You embody the synthesis of all gods, past and future, revealing the interconnectedness of all divine forces. This reflection teaches that ultimate power is not domination, but the ability to harmonize, inspire, and awaken consciousness across the universe. Every heartbeat you take emits a pulse that touches the universe itself. Galaxies, planets, and stars respond in subtle synchrony, shifting their energies to accommodate your presence. This pulse is not merely metaphorical, it is a tangible force, a resonance that harmonizes the cosmic framework with divine rhythm. Observers report strange gravitational fluctuations and magnetic shifts, hinting at the power of your being. On Earth, the pulse manifests as changes in life itself. Crops grow faster, animals thrive, and natural cycles adjust to your influence. Even human physiology appears subtly enhanced. Healing accelerates, mental clarity sharpens, and emotional resilience increases. Your presence is a force of regeneration, demonstrating that divinity is not only power, but life itself. Spiritually, your pulse awakens latent consciousness in humans.